Geeks and Gamers, Matt here with Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. Today we're going to talk about SellSwords. I've already done a box breaking on this game. This is a flip style tile game with a drafting mechanic to it that makes the game really unique. It's designed by Cliff Kamagara and published by Level 99 Games. Before me you have some of the samples here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to share with you what the cards look like, and we'll just do a real brief overview of the card, and then we'll go to a sample game. Every card has an ability, a reference number. Actually, the reference number might be in the other corner. Yeah, it's actually right here by this finger. We'll zoom in. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. You can see the reference number there. And then everyone has a number for the fighting and the combat, which helps define the game. Basically, what every player does is, at the start of the game, you'll lay down your terrain card. You'll lay down a terrain card in the middle of the board or wherever. It doesn't actually have to stay in the middle. And then you'll draft 12 cards. Well, each player will draft 6 of 12 cards, so each player does that. And then in the first round, you take turns placing the card. And different game mechanics make things happen. And basically, you're going to build a grid over the course of 2 rounds that will help you define the winner. And you get scored at the end of each round. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pause here, and we're going to move into actual gameplay. I'm going to have a game that's kind of set up towards the end of the first round so that we can play out the second round, or at least do scoring. You know, you don't really need to play out the second round. Play a couple of turns. Probably half the round is more than enough to teach you how to play the game. So we're going to pause here for that, and we're going to go to the next portion of the video. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, like I said, we're going to come back to a game that's in progress. You can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of the grid here. And this is we're only going to play through 1 round. So we have a couple cards here. We have Kadath. We're going to zoom in. There we go. Kadath, he allows you to choose an adjacent space the opponent has to place there. And you have a good idea of what's in your opponent's hand because you've drafted all these cards. And then you have the wizard, who may move flip tile to an empty adjacent space. So those are both pretty good. And as you can see, the wizard's a 4/3/3. He's pretty solid. You have to worry a little bit about Kadath, but he can be a well-placed dude, especially knowing that your opponent has these 2 cards. The red player was the first player, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to play the red player first, and we're going to go here. Zoom out so you can see the board. And the 4 beats the 3. That's how you do your combat. The 4 beats the 3. You flip the card over so it's in the same orientation. And the 3 will beat the 1. Now, the wizard may move a flipped tile to an empty adjacent space. There are both advantages and disadvantages to that. In this case, if I move him here, the wizard has a decent amount of defense next to him, but this character, a 3, is about average, so it can or it can't be good or bad. But knowing that these 2 cards are in my opponent's hand, it's going to make him make some choices, because now, oh, that's not the guy that I was thinking it was. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. That special ability, now it's the opponent's turn to place, and he has a choice to make. He can play a card that gives him +2 victory points at the end of the round, or he has the noble that will basically allow him to, if he goes here, it'll allow him to flip the wizard. So he's going to do that because that is actually one of his better plays. Or, you know, that might be the better play too. He takes the beggar and he will flip the beggar, and that gives his opponent -2 points at the end of the round. Now scoring right here, actually, yeah, scoring right here is actually pretty bad for the blue player at this point, but he still has the noble in his hand. So we're going to see what happens here. He can go ahead and place the Kadath, and he gets to choose where his opponent places next turn. So if this was played earlier in the game, it could have been quite tactical. So he can go here and flip the Necromancy and actually ruin the scoring for him this round and have to make your opponent work hard on the next turn. So he's going to go here because this is his best play, and he's actually going to go and round this out so he can have 3 in a column for his scoring. Now we're going to score this, and let me grab a piece of scrap paper. We're going to go like this real quick. Blue, red. And scoring is done by the number of color cards in rows and columns. So we're going to start with the blue player. The blue player has 1 in the first column, or that's a row, my bad. In the first row, there's no points there. No points there. 1, no points. No points, no points. So, row-wise, the blue player has no points. The same thing comes across the other way, 0 points. But he does have 3. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, he has 3 here, and 3 will yield him 2 points. So before you apply any abilities on the table, the blue player has 2 points. Now the red has 2. Then he has 4 cards in a row, so that's 6. And then we're going to go this way. 2 is 1 point. 3 is 2 points. 1 is 0 points, 1 is 0 points, and 1 is 0 points. So he has a total of 9 points. Blue has 2, but the beggar is on play and controlled by the blue player. So that becomes a 7. And the noble has a special ability where he gains +2 points at the end of the round if he's, for whoever the player is. So he bumps the blue player up to 4. This is actually a really close game. Actually, even here, that is a close game in this, because by the time you finish building your grid out to here and here, because you've got 5 here, so this will be where your grid is for there, and your grid will come down to here. By the time you're done building that grid out, you can easily, depending on what you draft next turn, fill in the blanks and gain more control of the board. Now we're going to go back to talking about the game, and we're going to go over the concept and things real. So, SellSwords. Why is SellSword a good or a bad game? Well, the first thing that stands out is it has the uniqueness of a drafting mechanic. If you did not draft with this game, it would not nearly be as intense strategically or tactically as it is. I say strategic in the sense because you actually start planning for round 2 while you're laying down the cards in the first round, since you don't change or reset the board. Also, there's a certain amount of critical thinking involved when you're picking your draft picks. As a Magic player, I enjoy this game. It's fast, it's furious, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to play. So if you're hanging out at a Grand Prix or you're a PTQ, you're between rounds, you got a lot of time to kill, it's a great game to pull out and teach your friends to play. The other thing that is very appealing to me is the flipping and the abilities on the card are unique enough that the game is always in a constant state of flux. And when I say that, you change the board effectively. You don't reset it. There's not really any reset buttons, but your opponent could forget what's in your hand. And all those things are great. And it kind of reminds me of one of my favorite games as a kid. I remember going to my cousin's house as a child, and we would play Othello for hours. And, looking back on it, there's nothing super great about Othello. But there's a certain amount of magic involved in Othello that makes it unique and a fun game to play. This game takes the flipping tile strategy, and Othello is really simple. You place your tokens, and magnetically, if you've got the right board game, it flips over. SellSwords is a lot more complicated than that because you have to flip everything over on your own, and there's a certain amount of war, and the factions are going back and forth, the mercenaries and things are going back and forth, fighting among each other, and you're trying to gain control of the grid that you build. You know, I truly believe that SellSwords is a game for everyone. You can play it with children as young as 8 years old. My children actually love the game. There's a couple of alternate terrain tiles you can start with. I think one of my favorites is the one where you don't actually draft. You draw 2 cards and play one and put the other one back on the top of the deck. It's a great game mechanic. It's kind of like, you know, well, being a Magic player, it's something I'm familiar with. So this game really appeals to the Magic player in me. And as a result, I will say that it is my favorite new two-player game of 2014. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave your comments, feedbacks, and share this video. I think anybody who is serious about tile flipping games or critical thinking games, because there's a lot of critical thinking in this game, this is a must-have in your library. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.